A world without outdoor advertising would be a lot more bland. I mean, if you look at some of the cityscapes we have in London, yes, there's great architecture, but in some parts it's really mundane, concrete buildings with flat glass. If you put an interesting, engaging advert on it, it gives you something to look at and something to think about.
Probably a little bit boring. Being in the fashion industry, I tend to look for inspiration with certain advertising and things like that, so I think it's probably important to my industry. So
it'll look a lot duller, it'll look a lot greyer, I think. Brands are a part of our lives, and everyone cares about the brands that they wear, they consume, they travel with. So to see that messaging all around the place is awesome. It brightens up a drab, dreary street. It brightens up a street corner, or it brightens up a drive into work. So yeah, I like seeing adverts, and I hope that doesn't change in the future.
A world without outdoor advertising would mean very boring tube journeys, where you'd have to look at the people on the advertisements.
How would you know where to find things if you don't see ads for them?
Well, how would you know what the latest handbag was? How would you know what the latest film was?
Exactly.
Any new product that comes on the market is advertised.
It's actually quite helping us shopping, isn't it?
Yeah.
I guess there would be a lot less to look at when you're outside, when you're travelling on a bus or a train. It would be a bit more plain and boring.
I think it'd be quite a boring place. There's so much of it these days that you don't even realise it's there anymore. But it'd certainly be a lot less colourful.
Pretty dull, I reckon, unless they put paintings up instead.
Certainly less colourful and less prompted, and therefore, we like to think we're all unique and we think about what we're going to do, but sometimes you need to be prompted to go and find out about new things that you're not aware of.
Yeah, it'd be a bit boring.
People would be more in the moment and they'd take notice of what is actually going on rather than they're suddenly transported to another thought in their head if they just catch an advert. So I saw an advert for Lansing Champagne the other day and I was immediately thinking of my next night out, what I'd be drinking.
It's actually quite hard for me to picture it without it being there, and so while I notice it from time to time, and maybe not every time I'm out and about, it's a part of the space that we live in. So
it'll look a bit dull and empty because without them I would think everyday commute to work would be the same thing all over again. It gives us something to look at, something more interesting.
Without advertising, people wouldn't be connected with products quite so much, and they wouldn't really know what was out there and what was available to them.
There'd just be a lot less colour in the world, to be honest with you. In terms of it impacting on your choice and what have you, I think you'd probably feel like you had less choice because you were less aware of everything around you and you'd stick more to routine. So yeah, it is a good opportunity just to sort of get the subliminal message across and then get the really big wow messaging across as well.
It just makes London a more colourful place, I think.
I think it's more of a question of what would we be like without outdoor advertising. So I guess how much does it actually influence us? So how, what would our buying decisions be like without it? I don't know. It'd be interesting to know how much it influences me.
I think without outdoor advertising, the landscape will look not quite so entertaining, I think. I think we're so used to seeing the adverts and using them as a source of entertainment that it would be a shame not to have them. So yeah, I think it would just be, it would almost be the world in 1D instead of 3D.